Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. For anyone that's new here, my name's Owen Alec, and on this channel I do everything drum related. That includes drum covers, tutorials, gear reviews, tips and advice, that kind of thing. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please do consider subscribing. So today we're talking about something fairly controversial in the drumming world. This is about real drums versus sample drums. Now, I've only ever used samples for things like demos or for just short snippets of music that I've done for the channel or for something else, but I've never used it for any client work, my bands, or for my own personal releases. So that makes it sound like I'm some sort of real drums elitist, but I'm really not. I think samples definitely have their place, and if you are a solo artist that's just being able to do stuff in the bedroom, they're not going to have the access to live drums. Samples are a great way to go to be able to get your music out there. However, if you are in a position where live drums are a potential possibility, I highly recommend going down that route because they will make your song sound so much more individual. With samples, it's someone else playing the kit, it's someone else's kind of sound and tunings and kits and cymbals, all that kind of stuff. Whereas if you're able to do live drums, it's a very much unique and individual performance. So today in this video, we're going to be checking out the differences between live drums and sample drums. Not so much which is better, but just so you guys can hear the difference between the two and you can make the decision for yourself. So first off, we're going to have a blind A/B test. You're going to hear a piece of music and it's either going to have live drums or sample drums, and then it's going to switch. You have to decide which one you think is which. Now, of course, as always, for the live drums, I'll be using my DW kit, and for the sample drums, I'm going to be using Superior Drummer. Now for this next test, what I'm going to do is play a short drum solo, and I'm going to try and keep it as diverse and as dynamic as I possibly can, and I'm going to see if I can replicate that in Superior Drummer. Because one of the biggest gripes that people have with sample drums is that it doesn't sound like a human, it sounds robotic, and obviously that is the case because you are programming it in. But by simply changing the sample's velocities, timings, and volumes, you can then start to get it to sound like a real human. But is it close enough? Let's find out. Now, of course, the argument can be made that when it comes to samples, because there's so many different samples out there, so many different packs that you can buy and import them into different software, you can get a very varied sound. But if you bought a drum kit that you're not planning on changing anytime soon, that's potentially then going to be the same sound each time. But the biggest difference when it comes to live drums is the player themselves. You might be having a good day, you might be having a bad day, you might be having a day where one of your legs is a little bit cramped and it's not working quite as well as it normally does, so then you're not quite as heavy on the kick drum, or your left arm is sore and you're not hitting the snare in the correct place, whatever it might be, there's always that human element. And that's one of the reasons why people like to use live drums, is because it's such a unique performance. But like I said earlier, if you're a bedroom player or you just don't physically have the budget for hiring out a studio, hiring out a session player and all that stuff to get live drums, then samples are a really good way to go. I'm of the mindset that live drums and samples can work together. If you've got a hybrid kit, it's a great way of amalgamating different sounds into a really unique setup. Equally, using samples in a live setting, such as for a kick drum, can be incredibly beneficial because you are getting a very consistent sound. It's not then having to fight and compete with everything else that's going on, because in a live setting you've got a lot of frequencies and it can be sometimes very difficult to hear a kick drum. So if you've got some drummers that are really fast on the kick drum, it can get lost in that mix. So having a sample that can kind of cut through that and sit above the mix makes that part of the kit heard through everything else. But what did you guys think? Did you prefer the sound of the live drums or the sample drums? Are you yourself using live drums or samples? Let me know in the comment sections below. I hope this video has been beneficial to you. If it has, leave us a like. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.